kind of a recap. If you're not familiar with DocRio, then just kind of like summarizing what it is, right? DocRio makes document generation and management seamless for firms. In addition to creating documents and packets, DocRio provides advanced search capability, drag and drop functionality, and intuitive file structures. So we're talking about easy uploads, searching every file, quick actions, editing documents on the fly. You're going to take a look at all of that today. I also want to talk about really quick our resources that we have available. So we have our Litify Learning Hub. If you haven't yet signed up for those courses, I recommend that you do because they're great. They have a lot of courses, training videos on DocRio for both end users and admins. So it's beneficial for DocRio specifically, how to use DocRio, how to configure it if you're on that admin side, creating templates, merge packets. Then we have our Litify community. It has a variety of knowledge articles for both admins and end users, and beneficial for installing DocRio, configuring DocRio, or just using DocRio as an end user. All right, so with all that said, let's go ahead and just jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and just exit this presentation, and I'm going to go into my training org that I have set up right here. And I'm going to grab my handy dandy annotate tool so you guys know what I'm talking about. So of course, all of our orgs look a little different. That's to be expected, right? I'm in a training org. You could be in your actual live org there. But to begin, we could be in either a matter record or an intake record, either or. But what we want to focus in on is our documents tab, right? That's DocRio. Now, I've seen it labeled a couple different things, right? It could be called docs, documents, or just plain old DocRio. But this is where it lives. So if you are clicking with me, following along, then you can just go ahead and navigate over to your documents tab. But if you're just watching, then yeah, just watch me click through here. So just to begin, I'm clicking on my documents tab here, and I can see now that my view has changed right below. So this is DocRio, and I'm gonna go ahead and annotate what we're looking at here. So as soon as I clicked on that tab, Documents tab, I'm looking at this beautiful view of DocRio. So to begin, I'm just going to kind of break down what we're looking at. The very first thing that we want to talk about is the view section. So the view by. You actually have 4 different views that you can view different documents. So beginning with the view by folder, you can view by favorites, and you can view by list. You can also view by search results, right? So we're going to go through all of these right now together. So beginning with the view by folder view, right? This is going to show you all of the folders that are on this specific record. So for an example, we can see we have client documents, discovery, emails, right? You can see all our different folders. Now, if you notice, this folder is closed, or sorry, this folder is empty. That's letting you know that there are no documents inside of this folder. There are no subfolders, right? It's just completely empty. If you notice a folder that has like something in it, so it looks like it's open, that's letting you know that there are files inside or even subfolders. Okay. So just to showcase that, I'm going to click on one of these folders that actually has something in it. So I'll click on the emails folder, and you can see it's showing me that it has a document inside. Right? Something I want to call out here about when we're navigating through these different folders, I've seen a lot of people kind of get used to using that back arrow button at the top when they're trying to return to the view by folder. But actually what you want to do is, if you notice right here underneath the search bar, it's a matter home. That's how you're going to get back to that view. So you'll be tempted to hit the back arrow, but that's not going to do anything there. You want to go ahead and just click on the matter home, and that's going to take you back to that view. So anytime that you're in a different folder, you could be in different subfolders, and you want to get back to that main view, just go ahead and click on that hyperlink there. All right. So again, that was just looking at our folders. Also, sometimes you'll notice underneath the folder view, you might see some documents. That's letting you know that there are documents that have been uploaded in that, weren't given a home necessarily, right? So you might see a bunch of files underneath. That's just letting you know it doesn't live in a specific folder. Okay. All right. Next to that, let's take a look at our view by favorites. So it's right next to the folder. So we're going to click on favorites here. All right, and favorites is any document that you have selected to favorite. So for example, if you see here right next to the document, there's a star and it's actually filled in, that's letting you know that this specific file has been favorited, right? It lives in the favorite list right there. Now I'm going to showcase this. I'm going to go ahead and favorite another file. So I'm going to go back to my folder here. Just going to go here to medical records. And so you can see here the star isn't filled in, right? That means that that file has not been favorited. I can simply click on the star, and now this file is going to be, I'm going to find it in my favorites view. So see, before I only had that one, and now I have the two here. And the cool thing about favorites is that favorites are specific to the record that you're viewing and to you as a user. So you won't see favorites from other users and they won't see yours, right? So if multiple people are working on the same matter record and you're working on that you're accessing the same files all the time, well, it's cool that, if I favorite something and Shaylee favorites something, it's not going to interfere and I'm not going to see her favorites, right? To unfavorite, you can just go ahead and click the star there and we can refresh. There is a handy dandy refresh within DocRio right here to the right. You can see there. So versus hitting the refresh on the web browser, you don't have to do that. But if I were to click here, I can see that now I just have that one file that was favorited. Okay. All right. And right next to favorites, we have the view by list. So what this is a list of all the documents, right? So list view will show all files attached to the record that you're in. For example, we're in our matter, so it's a flat list. It's basically the easiest way to see everything at once, or to even sort all files to show the most recent ones, right? So you can even sort it by, created date, sort it by last modified, right? And you can do that simply by clicking right here, and you can see how it's going to sort that again for you. Right. So those were the view by folder, favorites, and list. Let's talk about the search results bar that we have here. And I'm going to jump back here to folder to showcase this. So we have our search bar right here. Okay. And it works kind of like normal, like any other search bar, right? You enter your search keywords in here and you can press enter. So if I were to just go back to my matter home here, and I'm going to type in Litify. So you can see here, I'm typing in, it's bringing up that file, right? I just typed in Litify. I have a little GIF that I uploaded here that we'll take a look at in a second. But you can see that it quickly came up for me to see, right? Something to point out is that, when you're searching, whether it be folder, favorites, or list, it's going to be dependent on what you're viewing by, right? So if I were to jump over to favorites, and let's just say I know that there's another record here called medical something, you can see that nothing's coming up, right? Because it's searching within the favorites list, and I only have that one document that's in there, so that's why that's what's coming up. But if I jump over to list, you can see that, again, it's searching across all documents on that matter record. So it came up here, right? So that's important to note about the search bar there. Okay. You also have right next to your search bar the option to do an advanced search. So right next to the search bar, we have this little magnifying glass here that we can click on. And you can see here that a side panel is going to open up. And this is great because now I can go ahead and, find files using specific criteria beyond just the file name and the description, right? With the advanced search, you can combine multiple filters to search for. So for an example, if you see here, we can search by the file name, we can search by the created date, last modified date, who created it, who last edited the file. If I want to get even more specific and I just want to, depending on the type, right? Let's just say I only want to see, emails. Show me, I can go ahead and click on go here. And you can see here how it's going to, so I do have one email in there that I loaded through DocRio email. So we can see that right here. All right. And once I'm done with that, I can just go ahead and clear the search result by just clicking the X here. Let's see how it took me back home. But if I needed to go back, I can just, again, click on that magnifying glass and continue searching, right? Okay. And if I want to go ahead and get rid of that, I can just click on the X and that'll go away again. All right. Okay, so far we've talked about the being able to view by different views, where we have the folder favorites, the search. Let's go ahead and move on to talking about certain action or quick action buttons that we have here. I'm going to start with these three right here to the right. And I also want to mention, if at any point I'm calling something out and you're looking at your org and you're like, hey, I don't see that. Keep in mind that there are a lot of, I have admin access, so I'm seeing everything. But if for some reason you don't have something, that could just be intentional per your admin settings, right? So to begin, I'm gonna skip this first one and jump right here to the middle, talking about uploading documents. How do we get documents into Litify, into DocRio, right? You have two options. You can click on this dropdown, and you can click on upload, right? So if I wanted to upload a file, I can just quickly click on the file and upload it. Or if I wanted to upload an entire folder, I can click on upload folder, right? I can click on the folder, upload it that way. But my favorite way to get documents into Litify, into DocRio, would be the drag and drop feature. So I'm going to showcase that right now. You can see here to the left, I have a couple of documents, pictures, right? I can literally just grab that document, and you can see here, I can drop it in this section. Now it's letting me know where I can drop it in. Just a point, if you try to drop it outside, just know that it's not gonna take it, right? So make sure that you're within that area. So just drop it. And you can see here, it's gonna take you to this modal here, where you have a couple options. So you can rename the document, right? You can add a description. You can even choose what folder it goes into. So if you have a preset list of folders already, that's great. You can choose the specific folder. If not, you can just leave it on the Matter home and just know that those files will live underneath your folders, right? But just to begin with the file name, I want to call out, do not erase the extension, because you'll get an error, right? So you want to be able to rename the file. That's perfectly fine, but just make sure that you leave that dot, whatever the file is. Otherwise, you'll get an error, okay? And again, your description, whatever it is. So to change the location, you can click on this folder right here. So you can see here, I'm looking at the folder structure that's within this specific matter record. And I can just, hey, I'm uploading medical records. I want it to go to the medical records folder. So you can see how it changed. And all I have to do is click on upload. And I have my little notification bar there letting me know that it's been successfully uploaded. I get the nice bar, and I get a little notification at the top, right? So that's letting me know that it was successfully uploaded. And again, we chose a folder for this file to go into, which was the medical records folder. So if I click into medical records, I can see that document right there. Okay. So again, that was just one file. I can upload multiple. I can even upload a folder. So I have a test folder here that I'm going to drag and drop here, DocRio test. Okay. Now you can see within this folder, I have two documents. I have a picture and then just a random Word doc, right? Again, I can put those descriptions, change the names. I can even set the folder, even though I'm moving in a folder, maybe I want one of these to go into another folder. Well, I can do that. So let's just say I want the picture to go into photos. I can switch that and then leave this Word doc in the actual folder that I'm uploading. Okay, and I can click on upload. You can see it's letting us know it's uploading 2 files. We have our success banner, right? So if you notice now, I have that brand new spanking folder that I just dragged and dropped. And then of course I put in that photo in the other folder, right? So I can click into photos just to make sure it went through. I can click on my picture there. And this is just so I can showcase my beautiful dog, Odin. So everybody knows he's very lovely and means the world to me. All right, so that's as easy as you can drag and drop files. And again, it's my favorite way to do it. I think it's the quickest way to do it as well. Let's look at the other actions here. And guys, feel free to definitely interrupt me at any point if you have any questions, or maybe I'm moving too fast. But again, that was us uploading documents, dragging and dropping. You might have another option here if you have been granted this. You could create folders right from here. So you can click on the little icon folder and name whatever the folder is. I'm just going to do test, create, and you can drop that folder. So now you see you have a new folder there. Okay. All right, so the one that I skipped earlier, we're going to talk about this icon right here, this quick action button, merge packet. This is how you can generate a document based on existing merge templates that already exist within Litify, right, within your org. So if we click on this little icon here, this little lines making an arrow, it's going to open up where we're able to generate a document. So I have some just kind of examples here. But you do have a search bar, right? So if you have a lot of templates in here and you're just trying to find the right one, you can search, you know, you can just start typing. So if I did start typing rep, you can see letter representations coming up. If there's a packet code, I can even search by packet code and it'll come up, right? I can also click on this drop down right here next to it. And let's just say I only want to see client documents, or I'm looking for just those court documents, right? I can switch that view here. Otherwise, I can leave it as all packet categories. I can go ahead and click on this checkbox, right? If I wanted to see, maybe this packet has like, you know, 10 templates that I have to go through, I can click here where it says show, and it's going to show me how many templates are in here. Right now, there's just this one. It's just a simple letter representation template. So I'm going to go ahead and select it. I'm going to click next. And always when you're working with these, when you're generating documents, you do have these sections that you have to go through. Sometimes these fields are just, you know, pre-filled in, depending on what's already filled in the matter record itself or the record itself in the details section. So like today's date, there's nothing I have to do there, right? The party's name is already in there, the matter name. But I want to point out that you could see some sections that require you to either fill in the information, or you have to actually fill in that information on the record itself before you can even generate the document. So you can see here opposing party name, it's already been filled in, so I don't have to do anything there. You can also see that it's required because there is a asterisk next to it. Now below here, this case manager's full name, you see that it is empty and it is required. So that can mean two things, right? This can mean that, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's filled in on the details page or not. It just requires you to fill in something in there, or that it's empty. But what's important about this is that you're not able to generate the document unless you fill in this section, right? It's letting you know, hey, you can't preview and you can't generate because you're missing something. So I like to call this out because oftentimes, you know, you're moving really fast trying to get your job complete and you're like, oh no, you know, what am I missing down here? What's going on? It's most likely there's something that's required and it's not filled in. So for this, I can just type in, right, let's do brown. And then you can see now at the bottom, it's now there's an option for me to actually preview or generate the document, right? But there are other scenarios where, you know, even if you start typing something in, it's still grayed out. A lot of times it's that insurance, it's asking for an insurance company or a doctor or a hospital information, and it's all blank. Well, I just want to call out that on your record itself, that's where you have to fill it in. So for an example, you see my insurance is empty. In my roles, it could be empty, right? I don't have a hospital set up. I don't have an attorney set up. I'm missing information and it's not passing over into that document. So if you ever find yourself in that situation, come back here and make sure that you actually have information that would pass over to the document itself. Okay, so I'm going to go back, do that again. Letter of rep, next. I'm going to type in case manager. So I can preview the document before generating it, right? Because maybe I just want to make sure that hey, is this the right document, right? Does everything look good? So I can preview it. I'm gonna give it a second here. Right. And I am in my training org, so it does take a little bit, but you can see I get a nice little preview of the document. Okay, yep, this is what I'm looking for. Everything's right. I can click on generate, but I don't have to preview it every time. I can just go quickly to generate. And again, you're going to see your success bar there. All right. Something else that happens when you generate a document is you get a new view by option, right? This will only show up if you've generated a document. If I have not generated any documents, and that view by is not going to show up, right? It's not a permanent view by. It's just only when you've generated a document, okay? And if you want, you can also clear that. So if you no longer want that tab to even be there, you can click on clear generated view, and it'll just mean that it'll get rid of this tab here, okay? But you can see below, we have our document. There it is. We've generated it. So because we've generated this document, I want to go through now, taking a look at that wonderful preview panel that you guys kind of were seeing when I was clicking on different documents. If you click on the document, whatever it is, whether it be an image or a Word doc or a PDF, you're going to see here to the right that you have this preview panel. Now, right away, you can see, depending on your settings, my training center, it looks a little small here. You can change that view by clicking on this little line that we have here right next to it, little border, and you can actually drag it out to make it even bigger, right? So depending on how your org is set up, if automatically when you click on it, it looks a little small, don't worry, you can change that view. Okay, so if we clicked on the document, that preview panel opens up immediately, and you can see that the very first tab is the preview panel, right? So we're previewing the document, okay? In this case, the document that we just generated. So right next to preview, you also have some other view tabs that you have here. So you have info, and you can actually edit some information, right? So right away, you can see the file name, who it's related to, the folder path. You can see, if there's any descriptions about the document, the file size. Something else you can do on the info is actually you can grab the file link, and this really comes in handy if you need to quickly share this document internally with someone else at your firm. Maybe you got to drop it in a chatter post. Maybe you want to, set it in a task, just quickly, or leave it in a Litify note. But you can just quickly just copy that file link. And again, this is for internal only sharing of the file, right? They'll click on this file and it'll open up the record, open up the document within Litify. All right. But from here, also, if you want to edit any of the information, you can click on edit. And you can see here, you can edit the file name, right? You can enter in a description, right? You can add an author. You can change who owns it, who edited it, right? You can go ahead and change that information, then click save. All right, right next to info, you have the versions tab. And what this is going to show you is you can basically review and even download all document versions for a file. So you can see also which users uploaded a new version and when. So right now, all we see is what I did here. You just see the one version here. The actions to download it. Okay. Since we're talking about versions, underneath the document itself, I don't know if you've noticed, there is a V1. This is a quick way to know how many versions of this document there is, right? So if it said V2, V5, V6, right, you know that there are multiple versions of this document. So right now we only have that one, and we can see clearly that there's only that one that exists. But this is great because, if multiple people are, editing this document, or there's multiple versions that exist, you will always have access to the original one. It'll always be that V1, right? All right, so next to versions, you have history. So if I click on history here, Okay, so it's going to show us basically any actions that were taken on it. So, you can track user interactions with a document, right? So like the user, copied it, moved it, downloaded it, created an external link. You're going to see what they did, who did it, and what date they did it. And that's great for, if you're wondering, wait, whoa, who edited this document or who did this to this document? I need to find out. You can find that information over in the history tab. Okay. So again, that was preview, info, versions, history. We see these and I'm clicking through them very easily. Something else to call out, if this section, if it's just, you feel like, this is just too much of a small section that I'm working with, you do have the option to actually open up a new tab with just the document, and you can perform the same actions, but just in another tab. So as soon as I click on that, you can see I have another tab opening up here. It's going to show me the document. Here we go. And again, I can still perform some of the same actions, right? Right here, I can still view all. It's just that, maybe I just want to, I like working with multiple tabs, right? I can jump back to the matter record and maybe work on some details or whatever it is that I'm doing there. And then I can jump back to the document if that's what I want to do, right? And then of course I can just close it when I'm done. Okay. And of course, right next to that, you also have the option to download the document. If you wanted to download it to your desktop for whatever reason, that's what that icon does right there. All right, so now let's talk about these quick action buttons that we have here. Again, I want to remind you guys that if you do not see this option, that's okay. I'm logged in as an admin, so I see everything. Beginning with the checkout option. So this little lock here, basically it allows users to check out and check back in documents while you're working on them. So, this feature can be used to prevent multiple people editing a document at once, to prevent users from uploading new versions of the document, or, to ensure that documents are not altered during maybe certain phases of a case, right? So you can click on that lock right there. I'm going to showcase this here, and it's letting you know, hey, this file will not be editable by others until you check it back in. So once you check it out, just make sure you understand that you have to check it back in once you're done. Otherwise, no one can go ahead and work on that document, right? So you get your notification that it's been checked out, but also another way to tell is underneath that document, we have a new lock there right next to that V1. And that's letting us know, oh, okay, this document is actually locked. You can also hover over it and it'll tell you who has it checked out and when they checked it out. So if you're maybe, your job is you're reviewing certain things and you notice that maybe someone went on vacation and it's been checked out for 2 months and nobody's been able to work on this document, then you can go ahead and address that, right? And get that check back in. So I'm going to clear here. So once you're done, you can just go ahead and click on the lock. You can tell now that it says check in before it said check out. So I'm going to click on check in. And now if you notice, that lock is now gone, right? There's no lock and my notification said I checked it back in. Okay. All right, so you also have the option right here to copy a file. So this, I guess this comes in handy for companion situations, right? You need this file to also live on another matter record. You can click on that little copy icon there, and you can select where you want it to go, right? So you can start with, okay, I need this to live on another record. How can I do that? I can click on the X here, and I can just search. I can click the X and then search for the other client, right? The record that I'm looking for. And once I do that, it'll also give me access to their folder structure. So I can make sure that it's going into, whatever folder it needs to go into, right? And again, it's just a copy of the file. Okay. All right, right next to copy file, you have the option to create an external link. So by clicking on create external link, I can set an expiration date. I can even set a password. And again, this is me sharing externally, not internally, externally with someone. I can go ahead and do this. Right now, I've only selected one file, but I can go back to my Matterhome and select 20, 30, 100 files to share. But right now, I'm just using this one as an example. So I've got that set up. I don't want to put a password. That expiration date is fine. I can click on Create Link. And so I have my link here, so I can copy it. And then I can, drop it in an email, drop it in a text. However I want to get this out to that person that I'm sharing it with, I will give them that link. Now I'm just going to showcase what it looks like when they access the link. So once they click on the link, this is what they see, right? So they don't have access to your Litify, to your information. They just have access to what you've shared with them. And it's letting you know who shared it with you, who it's coming from, how many files. They can see the file there. They can see that there's an expiration date. Of course, they can preview the file. So you can see here. And then they can also download it, right? So if they want to download it, they can preview and download it. But that's all they can do, okay? Now I'm going to jump back over here to show you something else. I don't know if you've noticed, because we created an external link, we now have a new tab here called Links. So this is good, to see if there are any external links on that document. Another thing that you'll notice is, let me just refresh here. Right next to that V1, we have a little link here. That's also letting you know right away that this document has an external link created, right? So you don't have to necessarily click into the document to find this out. You can just look at these little, identifiers underneath the document, okay? But if we click on links, I can see here the URL. I can see who did it. I can see what the expiration date is on it. And also, most importantly, I can delete it. So let's just say I'm moving so fast and I realize, oh no, I shared the wrong document. Let me just go ahead and cancel that. I can click on delete and it's going to let me know, hey, you're going to cancel this external link. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I can cancel it. And so now if that person that you shared the link with tries to access that link again, they're going to see this message: the link you're trying to view was not found. Okay. And then if you also notice that links is now gone, right? Because we've deleted it. And if I refresh my view here, that also it's gone underneath the document there. Okay. All right. We have the option to delete. I know that not a lot of people will have access to this, mainly admins, but if you see a little trash can, that's what it means. You could potentially delete that file. Right next to that, you have the pencil, which is the edit file. So this, once you click on the pencil, it's actually going to open up what we call DocRio edit. So I'm going to showcase that now. I'm clicking on the pencil. You will get a pop-up saying, or do you want to open DocRio edit? Because you're going to be using DocRio edit all the time, I recommend clicking on always allow. That way you don't have to always click this. So click open DocRio edit. This little panel is going to pop up and it's going to show us, it's going to bring up Word in just a moment. And so what I'm going to show you is how quickly you can edit a document. You're going to skip a lot of steps here. You're not going to have to go through the whole upload, download, switch, do all these, it's just a one-click, and you're going to see that update in just a moment. So this is the document that we generated. I noticed that I have to make a quick edit just to showcase this. I'm just going to highlight a couple sections here, and I'm saving and I'm closing. That's it, right? So now, how do I know if that edit went through? I'm just going to exit that preview there. I'm going to refresh here. There we go. So this, again, refreshing within DocRio is very easy versus having to refresh the entire web browser. But what I want to highlight before we look at this is that underneath that document, it now went from V1 to V2. So right away, letting me know that I have two versions of this document, right? And I can click on the document so I can take a look at this preview. And there we go. So my edit I highlighted that section and I can see it right away, right? So you guys are moving at a fast pace. You need to go ahead and make these quick edits. You're not having to download the document, upload the document, go through all these, different steps, right? It's just like literally 2 clicks and you're done. You see your edit clearly there, right? And that is the magic behind DocRio Edit. And as I mentioned, we can look at those versions, right? We can see that there's 2 versions, but I still have my original one. We can look at the history, look at how that history is being laid out, showing us what's been done on that specific document as well. All right, moving down the line here, we also have the option, there is a combination of the 2 where you could check out a document and edit it at the same time. So versus you checking it out and then clicking the pencil to edit, there's a combination of the 2. So once you click it, it's going to check it out, which will lock it, and then it's going to open up DocRio Edit at the same time. Okay. All right. Right next to that, you have the option to move a file. So let's just say for whatever reason you've uploaded the document to the wrong record, you can go ahead and move that file. Or maybe you just uploaded it to the wrong folder. You can move it to a different folder. Maybe you uploaded it to medical records, but you meant for it to go to photos. All you would have to do is click on the folder and just click on move file, and then that'll quickly move it for you. Okay. You also have the option to create a new version of the document. For whatever reason, you just want a new version, you can do it that way as well. All right, now I'm going to point out some other icons here that kind of do the same thing, but just to showcase kind of all the different ways that you can get something done. Right next to the file, if you notice that there's this actions section here, you do have the option to download the file, but if you click on this caret, this little arrow pointing down, you can see a lot of the other quick actions here, but you can see different ones actually. So you have, we talked about checkout, copy file, create an external link, delete the file. You can download the file as a PDF, right? So this is a Word doc. Maybe before I externally share it, I want it to be a PDF instead, then I can do it that way. You also have, you can preview for tablet. You can also split PDF. So let's just say you have a PDF with 20 pages and you want to go ahead and split it up. You can do it this way as well, just clicking split PDF. You can view history, view all the versions from here, right? All right, and again, just to showcase what I was talking about earlier about how you can select multiple files. Let me do this from list here. So let's just say I wanted to grab all those files. I can click on this drop down and I can click on create external link. So you can see here, it's got all the files that I want to share. All right, so I'm going to pause here. Are there any questions or anything at all you guys want to see again, or?
And again, if you don't want to write out your question or you'd rather we just unmute you so you can ask Chris live, there's a raise hand feature and that will let us know to pass that permission to you.
Awesome. Yeah, I was always the type that I'm like, no, I want to secretly ask my question.
Yeah. I like that you have both though, because I also know when people feel like it's at the end of a webinar and they're trying to like type it out quickly. Right. Longer question. I know it's easier to just chat about it, but.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have the time. So this time is for you guys. So anything at all, if there is something that you have a question about or you just want to see again, feel free.
We have one raised hand. 1 second, Chris.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I think your name is showing up as Carlos. We have a lot of Carlos on today, though. I think the link got shared. If you want to come off mute and tell us your name and what firm you're at and then ask your question, that would be great.
Yeah, my name is Joseph. I'm with Goldberg Loren. And Can you go back over that portion where there was an icon that was it was like a lock? And I didn't quite understand the purpose of that. And if you could go over that again.
Absolutely, Joseph. Yeah, great question. Great request. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the file that we were using for an example. All right, so scenario is we want to go ahead and check out a document or lock. And again, the reason why this is used, but keep in mind that not all firms use this because they kind of don't find it useful, I guess, but some do. So it allows users to check out and check back in documents while working on them. And what that's going to do is it prevents multiple people from editing a document at once, right? So let's just say I have this letter of representation and I'm like, oh no, I have to change this, you know, whatever it is that I want to change really quick. But then Shaylee also wants to go ahead and maybe she wants to change something in it as well. Well, both of us can't be in there editing the same document, right? So I want to prevent that. I want to go ahead and check out the document. So I'll click on the lock. It's going to say, hey, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I want to check it out. And then right underneath, you can see that that lock is there. So I've checked it out. If Shaylee tries to go to this document and click on the pencil to edit the document, it's going to let her know, hey, you can't, it's checked out. So then what she'll do is she'll come over here and hover over the lock and say, oh, let me reach out to Chris, and because I need to be able to edit this document and, you know, share it, print it, do whatever I need to do, but I can't because she has it checked out. Does that make sense, Joseph?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Very welcome.
Perfect use of the raise hand feature. I love it.
Absolutely. And yeah, great. And you get confetti for that, Joseph. Woohoo!
Woo! That's amazing. Awesome. Well, I think that is the end. Yeah, Chris?
Yeah. That is the end, and we leave it for any questions that you guys, any additional questions that you guys might have.
All right, let's call it there. We will share this recording in the Litify community once it's been downloaded and re-uploaded and all of those processes to get it live, but we will share this. So if you want to come back to anything, you're welcome to. And again, we tend to do this DocRio specific end user training. I'd say like once a quarter, once every 4 months. So keep an eye out if you want to do this one again. I think next month, we alternate every month with an end user training. If you also have anything that you specifically want to see talked over in this format, please reach out and let us know, and we're happy to try to fit that into the schedule. But thank you, Chris, for your time as usual. I love the addition of the Litify llama and the confetti. It's perfect.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Shaylee.
Bye.